hear me okay? Just to recap what we talked about last week about fatherless homes. Fatherless homes is an epidemic. Guys, it is not just in the States. And I am a biggest fanboy of Mexico. You guys know that. You guys know I have seen and been in, um, you know, a party to a lot of not some victim ass shit, like legit stuff that happened to me that if you were to hear me talk about it, you'd say, "What are you complaining about? You're the one who moved to Mexico." And you'd be right. But what I've observed is that the fatherless home epidemic here takes shit to the next level. See, you guys are used to having a comfortable life. A lot of people here are not used to having any sort of comfort. And you all have disposable income that's I believe it's 30 times what the basic the minimum wage is here. So these are people who work for $3 a day. So they don't have like these federal programs that incentivize people to get divorced and to take the kids because there is no like enforced child support system here. Not like the states, because we all know that the United States uh, child support system is corrupt. We all know that the judges and the magistrates that preside over those cases all get it's all funded to their retirement accounts. If you weren't aware of that, you do now that the judges and magistrates that preside over family courts, they say to the tune of something like 66% of payments that are made by fathers through family court to support child support. It is a It's similar to what the banks do when you deposit money and they lend it out to somebody else. When you pay into child support, they take that money, put it into a fast acting fund that collects interest on microtransactions that happen over the next 36 hours, 48 hours. They distribute money based on numbers, but they take physical payments in through the court system, through EBT or whatever that system is, and it's an accounting system. That's all it is. It's just an accounting system, and that accounting system is designed for not for maintaining and tracking child support. It's to maintain and track payments that are being paid towards judges. So it's in their best interest to make sure they have an enforcement order, because every single family, let's say hypothetically, they would make, let's say, $500 off of in interest over time over a period of years. So they have every incentive to break up families. They have every incentive to, because what happens to boys when they become older is if they're raised by a female, he'll have female characteristics, but he'll have masculine traits inside of him. So he'll respond to anger differently than a girl would. Okay, so they've got these emotions coupled with physical ability to beat your ass. So men have it really rough because if they don't have a father around to keep them in check and say, like, yo, what are you doing? Don't go over there. There's no water in the pool. I think the greatest failure that any father could possibly have is not being able to talk your son off a ledge, like literally talk him off a ledge. And so that, because moms will confuse the fuck out of their kids. Look around here. You come around here, all these thieves that I tell you about at night, all the people that we videotape walking around with burglary tools, every single one of them has done time in prison. Every single one of them has been in one of these AA jails that I used to teach at. Remember that every Saturday, you guys, I was doing the Saturday classes in the AA jail. And unlike the States where people can go and they relapse and they got like a family that'll like save their ass, down here in Mexico, if you are a drug addict, your family rejects you, you're out. Like you are not going to survive. You are on the streets like legit. And what do those guys do? They run around at night recycling garbage to recycle 50 cents worth of plastic to maybe go get a hit of crack. You follow me, guys? That's how sad that life is. That's how I observe things. So fatherless homes is an epidemic, but there's another part too. There's a lot of parental alienation going on. Now, what's parental alienation? Parental alienation is when the custodial parent makes it hard or impossible for them to see their biological kid. And that is child abuse by definition. What is not child abuse is not paying child support. You'd probably think, what? Why? Because we have been conditioned to believe that the courts must receive money in order to pay payments to the mother to support their own children because they don't trust us, because they make money off of us. You see what I'm saying? They would not incentivize this if they weren't making a profit from it. They're not doing this because they love children or they love ex-wives or ex-girlfriends and they want to support, because of all us deadbeat dads. It's because they make money off of it. Otherwise, there'd be no incentive. Otherwise, they would reverse it, make women pay child support, and then the children go with their dads. They know damn well the mothers aren't going to pay child support, and that men are more likely to pay child support. Men are more likely to be responsible and pay it forward. So there's a lot of pain that involved with this because you guys realize something, that these young girls make big mistakes early on, and either by because here the laws are different. They don't have like the delete button when you want to be irresponsible with your body. They don't have birth control. And they just made deleting babies legal this year. So this civilization is not completely out of control. You see the states, you can be like, every other country must be like that. It's not like that here. There are still people here with values. As a matter of fact, it's gotten better here as the states have gotten worse. So the more and more that you guys think in the states that men are becoming more righteous, dudes are 50 moves ahead up here. They're like sickened by feminism. They are definitely over the whole there's this kind of a boogeyman that they have here, and it's called machismo. And that is the old way that the men used to handle the women here in Mexico. And it was a known, accepted fact that when men had relationships, that the men were abusive, that they were womanizers, that they were drunks. Well, guys, this is 2024. I am not Mexican, and there is no reason in the world that somebody from another generation is going to spook or give the modern day people that I deal with paranoia about how we are. Because even though I was raised by a single mother, I also have the option of opting out of curses. So some of you guys live in these boot loops of being told the same thing, getting told that this is your life and this is the end of it. And you feel guilty if you step outside of that, because that's what programming does. So anyway, guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about my little health scare that I had last night. And it's not because I want you guys not to do any of this stuff or try any of these things or do any of this stuff, but you know that I have been actively involved in experiments in trying to combat PTSD, nightmares, panic attack disorders, anxiety, and depression. And in the research that I've done with groups of people that are way more qualified than me, we found that there are a lot of good things that come out of doing these experiments with people that have these problems. The problem is that we are also conditioned into believing that we still have these problems. Even though we have been free from, let's say, snoring, for example. Snoring, you can wear a CPAP machine and you won't snore anymore. Or you can have the operation and you may or may not snore anymore. And the risks that we take. So you see that We are all screwed up. We're all scrambled. We're all screwed up because the programming is designed to do one thing, that is to make money for these people. Okay? It doesn't care about our feelings. It doesn't care if it bankrupts us in the process. We are men that were programmed to become C and D level students. We were designed to be stupid, not to have common sense, not to have critical thinking skills, to do the easy thing and to follow our lower natures with lust, which is why they made corn free and 24 hours and accessible. And they want us distracted, which is why they make video games online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that is in its of itself a beast. It's an energy. It's an animal, and it has tentacles that go throughout the whole world, pulling in and distracting boys and men worldwide. Is it to program them to become really good at Call of Duty? Maybe. Or is it something that just says, this is your reward for your life? Is this distraction? And you're going to find contentment and happiness and fulfillment in this because it's a masculine trait that your mom can't teach you. So video games become the pseudo father that wasn't in the house. And they learn how to perhaps organize, maybe they learn how to talk the talk, the jargon and so on, even though they're no intention of going in the military. They sort of have the Walter Mitty complex where they imagine themselves doing these spectacular things as people like myself. So if you come from a fatherless home and you have gone to jail and you have had a divorce or a breakup or you've had depression or you've wondered where your dad was and all these things, when we actually do meet our dads after all these years and we learn that our moms had lied to us about what he did, that traumatized her so bad that she felt the need to alienate him from us permanently for his whole life. Because I was sitting there thinking about it last night. It's like, how would I feel if I was my son, for example, and he's in Germany and he's from Turkey? So, how would I feel if I was him and I was to grow up without a father, but never understood why I never had a father? Here I was, you know, I'm also no father, right? So, how am I supposed to grow up? How am I supposed to know any better? No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the process and do exactly what my father did to me. So when I talk to my kid, he's extremely angry at me. Like he's so pissed off at me. He's like, he sounds like he wants to kill me and shit. Which I don't blame him. I'm sitting there wondering about it. How would I feel if I was that kid and I suddenly realized that my dad, according to my mom, had abandoned us, and for no reason other than just to abandon us because I was a mean guy. That's what. That's usually the excuse. They don't have a real reason. They'll give you all the lies and all the dumb shit they did. And what's crazy is that my son actually takes those stories that she told him and assumes that I'm like that now. I'm like, kid, look, people do grow up. You know, I'm 51 years old now. I don't run around and chase hookers and go hang out in bars all night long anymore. He goes, well, I didn't know. I was like, well, that's just what it is. Like you're very hostile towards me. And I was like, how can you get to know me if you're sitting there, trying to tell me all the bad shit that I used to do, but you never met me in your life. You're sitting there trying to tell me I need to get my life together and all these things, kid. You're talking about my 20-something-year-old self that was hooked up with your mom, that a one night stand that turned into a 2-year nightmare. So don't try and sit here and fucking dictate to me, and try and tell me what I should be doing and shit. So as I began to learn more about this person that he was just told about, it's like, you got to realize too that all the stuff you're trying to talk to me about happened before you were even born. So you're assuming it's all true. Well, this is true. I was definitely a womanizer. This was true. Anything that came out of my mouth when I was with your mom was a lie. That's the facts. Your mom scared the shit out of me all the time and threatened me on a regular basis. So I kind of felt like I was always cornered. So I always felt like I needed to lie. But she was from that environment of abusive men. Like she was from Turkey and her dad used to beat her ass. Her ex husband used to beat her ass. So she got me in line next. And she was under the assumption that if she acted this way towards me, that I would do the same thing as her father did and her husband did and all this stuff. So when I didn't get in line with her, she started making my life a living hell because I was too young. I was 20 something years old. So when I got and try and get into a normal relationship, I don't even know how to be because I'm so accustomed to just the worst women. I mean, they're the prettiest, they're the hottest, they're the ones that'll bang you the hardest, but they're the ones that are most screwed up. I had a conversation with a therapist the other day, and I asked her, I said, why is it that it's therapists are on that list of women not to date? And she says, well, what do you mean? I said, well, first there's nurses. That's on the first. They say don't date nurses because they're always very whatever. And if that's true, then what about flight attendants? No, they're the worst. I go, no, they're not the worst because you said nurses are the worst. ER nurses are the worst. Well, because every time they go to a different town, where do you think they stay? Okay, they're getting per diem. They're hooking up with their guys like in advance and they're staying with their sugar daddies and stuff. I'm like, damn, that sucks. What about three? What's number three? Number three would be therapists or teachers. Like, this is crazy. Why would you not want to go out with the therapists? You figure they'd be more sane than you? Oh no, buddy. No, 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 no. Therapists are therapists because they need therapy. Their mind is as scrambled as yours are, brain damaged man. So all you brain damaged brigades, just so you know, that a lot of women that are therapists have problems themselves, and they themselves need therapists. So that's another one on the list of people not to date is therapists. Okay. Now it has been my expanded because I don't date. These are just like blue collar, mid level jobs, and I don't date women that are poor. I only date women that are very, very rich or hot, or both. So I would go out with doctors, big mistake. I'll go out and nurse practitioners, which is similar to that of a doctor. They're very well paying. They're basically a PhD of nurses. Engineers are virtually non existent. If you did, they probably have breath that smells and they don't wash their hair. Nerds in general, all the nerd women that I know are not attractive. They don't try to be attractive. That's not their purpose in life. It's none of that shit. Their attractiveness is based on intelligence, and they want men that are kind of wimpy in a way. But when they get around guys like us, that you know what I mean, could just twist their fucking boyfriends into a pretzel. They're attracted to dudes like us. So it's very very easy for us to grab girls like that adore us, and they might be even slightly conservative. But you know what's going to happen? The tamale guy's going to go by and scream and yell on a microphone while I'm on the air, right? So the girls that you would say that would be mid, normal, like nothing fancy, nothing over the top, would be like girls before would be like girls that you would meet in like Colombia that have had surgery and like had a BBL done or had like they got uh their titties done or they have hair extensions. So if you take all that away, all that fluff on the outside, what you have left over is these nerd girls. So what I'm telling you guys is that fuck all the shit with the wigs and the weaves and the glasses, the fake glasses and the fake nails. And if they've had surgery, if these are women overseas, if they speak English in any way, don't go out with those girls. So it's very, very easy for us to pick women that are screwed up because we ourselves are raised in a house that doesn't have a father. And if you're raised in a house that doesn't have a father, for somebody to tell you no, that girl might be bad news. How are we supposed to navigate this? Listen to our moms? It's like, no, just go with your feelings. Whatever you feel, right? That's how it's supposed to be, right, fellas? However you feel is the way to go. Go with your feelings. Well, I happen to know better than to go with my feelings, because look what happens to us when we go with our feelings. We end up in a shack up situation, or some coronavirus shack up where we got some toxic ass female that has borderline personality disorder. So that's what we do. We pick these women that are like that. And we wonder, why do we fucking keep having these problems, fellas? If you look at me now and you would say, holy shit, you went out with that, I'll be like, yeah, dude, do you know how beautiful she was? Like inside and out. She let me dog around on her birthday up the old highway. So, yeah, these aren't good women at all. These are just women that look good. They just look good. They sound good. In fact, they might even be good for a while. But these are women that eventually their true colors come out. And you, being the product of a fatherless home, are not going to be able to navigate the difference between love and lust. Because what we want is love from our mothers, and what we end up with is attractive women that give us lust and lustful things in order to sort of superimpose itself onto what we believe is love. So if the illusion tells us that, yes, she has big titties and she has a fine ass, okay, so she's got a fat ass. Belle Biv DeVoe warned us in advance. In the 1990s, these three men said, never trust a big butt and a smile, because it's what, fellas? What is the word that Belle Biv DeVoe described of as a big butt and the smile? It is called poison. Okay? In German, we say gift. Like a gift? That's what the word gift means, is poison. And if something is poisoned, it is vergiftet. So if it's poisoned and yet it looks like a gift, you understand what I'm saying, fellas? So we, as these guys that are predestined or tried to predestine us, because they keep telling us that we're predestined. They say you're never going to make it. You're not going to have women like you could dream of, because look what happened to all your relationships. All the relationships you've had in the past have all been a wreck. And I'm like, well, that's not fair to anybody, because it basically says that no one can be different. No one is capable of progressing in life. They got to always be the guy who just did 90 days in jail. That is what I'm giving you guys now, is that even though this kid has never met me, the memory of what apparently his mother went through with me is enough to just hate my guts, which I don't blame him, because I hated my dad's guts until I sat down with him face to face. And he said that, well, your grandmother threatened to kill me. I said, yep, that sounds about right. And your granddad was a judge or somebody powerful in government. And I was like, no, that's bullshit. Somebody told you that? He's like, yeah, all these years I thought he was a federal judge. So when she told me leave him alone and then, get the fuck out of here. So that was it. I just was a rolling stone after that. And so why I had no incentive to see you, because every time I went to try and communicate anything, I was met with hostility. So this is my father talking about dealing with the parents or the family of my mother. So you see that I had to live these years with all the painful shit that comes along with, being in a situation where it's like a stepfather or it's stepmother, and every single time has been a setup. That's why I say that it is probably best to vote with your fucking feet. That if you detect even the slightest bit of shit from your own family, like any kind of like backstabbing or backbiting or any of these things, I want to tell you guys that that is something that is deep seated and it doesn't end well. So it is my recommendation to all you guys is that if people are going to disrespect you, you give them a life sentence of never talking to you ever again. That's their punishment from now on for the way that they treated you. You will never speak to them again. And that's the best thing to do because no one is apparently faithful and or loyal in this world. And so I'm being loyal to you by telling you the truth that even though these people might have appeared to have your best interests at heart when you were young, where are they today? Do they have your phone number and have they called you? Are they expecting you're to be the one to make the call to them? Because that's what they want. They want codependent men like that. They want weak ass fucking dudes that, basically bow down to all of their whims and all of their desires to be immediately answered. You know what I mean? It's like leaving somebody on red. Like you write a message, hey, what's up? I had this thing that we were going to do. And they leave. They literally read your message and then don't respond. And or they'll say, "Oh, I didn't see it," or "I didn't read it," or whatever excuse they're going to make up, because that's how important they are to themselves, and you are nothing to them. So I say, wash your hands, be done with all this horse shit, because you don't need to if you don't want to. This lie that because we are, raised by single mothers, that we are somehow condemned to a life of mediocrity. That's not true. Because look where I am today. Okay. I was promised nothing and I got nothing. It was up to me to break the generational curse by getting on a plane with a passport and never fucking going and talking to those people ever again. And that's the way I prefer it because they don't have anything. What do they got to offer a motherfucker like me today? Really? Like think about that for a second. Think about those shitty people in your family that every single time there's a family party, they're always the one getting drunk and starting problems. You follow me? Like what does that family member have to offer me after the fact? Let's say after the family reunion or whatever, after they just made an asshole out of themselves in front of everybody, and they see that you got things going on and they want to go into business with you. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. So you see what I'm saying is that what do these people have to offer a motherfucker like me? So it's in our best interest that if they don't have anything to offer you, you vote with your feet because apparently if these people loved you and cared about you as much as they said, then why are they not calling you? Why has it been 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, since they have initiated a conversation with you via telephone or by text or whatever? It shows you they don't give a fuck about you. It shows you that you need new friends. And see, this has been the whole theme behind what I'm trying to tell you guys is that I'm a miracle. I don't care what anybody believes or doesn't believe. And if you don't believe me, that's okay. You don't have to. All right. But I am a miracle. I'm fortunate to be alive right now, you guys, because yesterday I thought I was having a fucking heart attack. I thought I was having a heart attack and it was really late at night. I hadn't gone to the gym. I was at home. The Roquera, she went to go do the paperwork with the lawyers. So she had to like take off and fucking go far and shit. So I'm here by myself. Hold up. Hold up, guys. Hold up, guys. Hold up, guys. Hold up. Okay. Yep. Be careful with the vaccine. I didn't take any vaccines, so I'm not dying anytime soon. So she takes off, and as you guys remember from the beginning of this video, I said I've been actively involved in trying to find ways to get over panic attack disorders, trying to get over depression, nightmares, all that stuff. So I found the solution to a few of these things, like legitimately found a way to like get rid of these things or to treat them with stuff that they use down here in Mexico for other shit. So I was like, what? Like, yeah, they actually have a medicine here that gets rid of nightmares. I was like, well, what's it called? Blah, blah, blah. That's what it's called. I check it out online and it's like 80 pesos for a box. That's $4. You mean all these years I've been suffering with nightmares, like every single night, like night terror level shit, that they've had this pill or whatever the fuck this is, and you take it every day for 30 days and it's good for 11 months. After that, you don't need to take medicine. See, that's why I say that like here is different than that pharmaceutical mafia that you have up there, because the doctors here and the pharmacies don't have an incentive to sell you shit or to give you fake fucking cures for stuff. So I was like, none of the fucking remedies that the medical center is doing for me here is helping me. These therapists suck. I need somebody that has been to war. I need somebody who's had through some fucking trauma. And then it kind of dawned on me, and it's like, these are the things that make shit worse. That if you have depression, if you constantly talk about depressed shit, then you're just going to be worse. So instead of doing the depressive shit and just wallowing in this fucking miserable shit that says, oh, I was a product of a fucking single mother. That's why I'm this way and I can't escape this. And it's a lie. Because every single time that I talk to dudes that have been successful in life, these are dudes that come from shitty situations like that. Then when I talk to other people who like rich, who grew up with money, those people are smoking crack and like struggling and like they're down in like the casinos in Fort Lauderdale, like begging people for cigarette butts. So you see what I'm saying? I don't want that. I don't want that kind of life. You know what I mean? To be around that kind of horseshit, I'm like, that ain't for me at all. So I grind my face off just trying to get out of the United States so I could permanently live somewhere else that's, first of all, cheaper to live. Second, I don't have all these environmental problems with people shooting bullets and crap like that. Three, everything is inexpensive. Like every single thing is the same here, but the price of everything is 70% more expensive in the States. That's before taxes. So the little things in life, guys, are the ones that things that add up. That's why I say you guys work for money, and it's pathetic. I don't work for anything, and I get everything. So how did that work out? I mean, seriously, how did that work out? So I got to suffer for my whole fucking life because all these rules that the world put on me and said that you're not good enough for a better life. You shouldn't have nicer things. Oh my God, if it is. That's one lovely thing about Mexico. If you think it's going to be nice and quiet, forget it. It starts off at 4:30 a.m. with chickens and roosters and shit, and it goes all day long like this. So you get to exchange all the peace that you get for possibly a noisy environment. So it's worth it. Now, is it worth it? Fuck yeah, it's worth it. Fuck yeah, it's worth it. Why? Because my cost of living is 1/4 of what your cost of living is. And I know I make more money than you. And so I can definitely live a little bit better. So with this money that I've been given, I've been supporting 7 different families in 3 different parts of Mexico at the same time. And these are people who could never pay me, never give me anything. Like they don't got anything to offer me at all, except they care about me. If I ever go to that area of the world or ever go to that place in Mexico, I always have a place to stay indefinitely if I wanted to. So I put a lot of value into working on myself so that people can't use that stigmatism on me anymore. It says, well, you abandoned your kid. No, I was alienated from my kid. So, and well, you came from a single mother home. I said, yeah, I probably was because my father was also alienated from me because my grandmother thought it was her, smart of her to say, to threaten him because he broke her heart, my mom's heart, and be like, well, you ever come around here, I'll kill you. So he didn't. He's like, fuck this shit, I'm leaving. Right? Anybody know that story? And then I come to find out 20 something years later, my dad was a pretty cool dude and he's done a lot of good shit. My mom fucking lied to me. She lied to me and said that he smashed her head through the fucking windshield of the car. That was a lie. That he fucking locked her in a trailer, like they lived in like a single wide trailer or whatever. and he like blocked the padlock on the outside of the house so she couldn't get out. Let's see what else. To torture her instead of giving her like tomatoes for salad, he like gave her a bottle of ketchup. You know what I'm saying? So these are the kind of stories that we're told as kids that make us want to hate our fathers, even though we never met the guy. And yeah, probably some of this shit's true. But what happens when it's 20 something years later and that guy's grown on, he's gone on to become something? Because a lot of this stuff that happened with our moms happened when our dads were really young and really stupid. So a lot of this stuff in these bags that we carry as kids is stuff that happened before we were even old enough to register. But when we got moms that are just terrorists themselves that want to make our dads feel bad and punish them, indirectly they punish us. And see, this is where the prison system wonderfully worked out. Because if they convince us, or actually convince the moms that our dads ain't shit and that incentivize us to go away, then they have a straw man to blame. They have the boogeyman of generational curses that says, well, my dad abandoned me and my grandpa abandoned my grandma and my great grandma. You see what I'm saying? So this is like a constant cycle of men ain't shit. It's a constant cycle of this perpetual fucking boogeyman that says that we men ain't shit, that us fathers ain't shit. That's why they paint us the way they do on fucking TV as like goofballs or stupid asses or fucking psychopaths or racist people that are off the charts. Like nobody talks that way anymore. And they keep wanting to play this narrative out as if that's current, you know, how people are. Literally had an argument with the guy the other night. He's insisting to me that he has been a victim of racism. I go, okay, well, tell me how. How have you been like? Did you not get a job in 2024? How is it possible anybody were to talk to you like that? Like at where? New York? Really? New York, one of the most liberal fucking states in the world? They're not rednecks running around. That sounds like some Josie Smollett bullshit. Only to provoke fights, to get guys to get drunk, to get guys to be separated from God, to guys to get in conflict on a regular basis. I've got good news for some of you guys that have emotional problems. I got good news for some of you guys who hate other people for no reason. Because I got the solution now to all these like stupid things that we go through as men. And if I was to give you like a word key and say that when a woman says this is actually what it translates to. When a woman says fine, she doesn't mean it's fine. She really means it's pissed off. We could translate this as like, I'm going to be angry at you for the next 45 minutes. Don't talk to me. And don't try to explain it because I'm not going to listen. That's what fine means. So if you understand that there are codes and different languages within languages, that even with regular people that who are not here for your best interest, by the way, most people can give a fuck about you. They're selfish, self-centered, and self-seeking across the board. So how you feel, however they make you feel, is none of your business. Right? Because these are just NPCs. This is your show, you guys. Anything that happens at this point forward that appears as conflict, bind it in the name of Jesus at this point. Really, seriously. If you see some combative bitch that's fucking with you, you go up to that combative bitch and you pray over her in the name of Jesus and see what happens. Because if you don't interact with the demon the same way that they would like you to, you see how people are when they're total vibe and they got some ratchet ass bitch on the interview and he's just been cool, he's composed. He comes back and fires back with logic. She throws up all this emotion and goes crazy. That's why we can win these arguments at this point forward, because knowing that this isn't real world shit. These aren't real people. These are people that are possessed by demons. And we are the survivors of the rapture, if you will, that may have happened a long time ago. And here we are in the few days of the devil, 1,000-year reign. Here we are at the end of it. They're gaslighting us every day to believe shit that's not true. And then they're taking guys like myself that are pointing out the fact that that's not true. That is not what happened. And all you people are lying to each other. And then if you want to continue into this vicious cycle of lies and not believe the guy that told you that the court system is rigged against men and fathers, and then you come to find out after the fact that I was right, you know what I'm saying, you guys, is that you could dismiss me because I'm a man, but you're not going to dismiss the facts that this is what's happening in the world right now. Our men are getting shitted on because just of the fact we're men. Black, white, red, green, Mexican, verde, whatever color you want. We're all getting fucked by the court system. They're making money off our child support payments. And this is a known fact now. So there is no exception and there's no wonder why it feels like we're getting fucking stomped on every fucking day. Because they expect us to be like these beta male simps. That's what they want us to be. They don't want us to stand up because all you got to do is stand up against them a little bit, just a little bit of pushback. And they go, ooh, you go, boo. And they just jump back. Hang on. Oh, no, no, no. Let me explain to you guys why I talk this way. This is not current events. This is storytelling. Yeah. Yeah. This is storytelling. So living in the past is exceptionally good to talk about because I've recovered from those things. So as to get up here and being a storyteller and not having a fucking thing to talk about, then go and to another person's channel that's going to blow smoke up your ass and not tell you the truth. That's going to tell you to be a simp. It's going to tell you not to fucking, not to learn from the past. See, I've had more volume of women than most men have. So I could talk about the fucked up shit that happens on this side of the tracks with these types of women. I don't deal with this kind of women anymore. So me being a storyteller about these type of people, you follow what I'm saying? I could be a storyteller. And if that doesn't appeal to you, it's okay because I am a storyteller, meaning that every single story that I'm telling that may have may not have happened from my past is part of the past. I don't live in the fucking past, ding dong. Okay? You're beaten if you believe that every story that you tell. I mean, you really sound like my son, to be honest with you, because he literally sounds like he's like scolding me. And when you were drunk that one time and you came back in the house and your shirt was all fucked up, that was like 2 years before my son was even fucking born. See what I'm saying? So he's scolding this person that used to be me. Oh, by the way, that's how us AA people talk. When we talk about stories and storytelling, it's because A, we had a problem, B, we drank over it, C, we ended up getting in jail or getting thrown into rehab or whatever, and then D, and having a slew of emotional problems and therapy to recover from this hopeless state. See what I'm saying? Normal people don't go through these things. Yeah, normal people don't go through these things. So it's like, say, get over it, dude. Really? Anyway, it's okay to think that way because you're not me. Isn't that right, Mr. Goodbread? I'm never going to stay out of the past. I'm writing books about the fucking past. So you don't want to listen to me, go ahead. Go fuck off. I don't care. I'm going to tell like a fucking storyteller. All right. If you think that I'm acting like a fucking victim or whatever, then that's your business. That's your interpretation of shit. It just is. But the thing is when you've had a good, exciting fucking life, a lot of stuff happens. And a lot of those lessons that you get from people are from stuff that's happened. If you've had a boring life and nothing ever fucking happened, what kind of life is that? You played it safe, staying inside, fucking staring at your computer all the fucking time? Hey guys, I gotta run. Listen, the reason why I was trying to tell you guys last night, I was having panic attacks. And the thing that I was trying to tell you about the cardio, uh, whatever it was, my heart was racing like crazy, was because I had just gotten a new type of cordyceps. I don't know if you guys know this. Cordyceps are helpful for people with brain trauma and kidney damage and a bunch of other things like that. So I got and it comes with these little teeny tiny little scoops. And I know about how these things, they give you energy and all this stuff. But they didn't tell you that if you combine it with lion's mane, which is one other thing that we use for therapy here, that if you just mix a little bit of lion's mane in with cordyceps, those two together will give you like this crazy amount of energy. If you do not go work out, you're going to be like those long distance bike riders that have high levels of red blood cells. Uh-oh. So anyway, I think we had to run now, so that's all we got to do for today. All right, fellas? I'm the professor, and I'm out.